hit subscribe. Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bad sent you.
Dennis Sterling. I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas. An advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father. I have black sons. Hey, man, I do what I
do. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. You guys hit the #1 button. I'd like to first welcome everybody here. I thank you guys for being here tonight. You know, it's going to be a different kind of night here. I want to make sure you guys can hear me clearly. If you can hear me clearly, hit the number and make sure that that the sound is good. We're going to need it. We're going to need it. Praise God. All right, all right, all right. We got our first people in Tax Patrol. Welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you in here. Shout out to everybody who's coming through. Hit the #1 button as you enter in. And, you know, as you guys know, my name is Dennis Sterling. And, you know, the first thing you need to understand is that I am an advocate for black men. What does that mean? What that means is I try to make brothers look good. I like to put us in the best light. I try to speak up on black men's issues. Now, of course, lately, because of the political climate, I've kind of shifted a little bit to expand out to kind of talk more about issues affecting black people in general. And, you know, as kind of like a defense to some of these folks who have these disparaging things to say about us. And so in that regard, you know, I've kind of expanded out just because of the political season. But at heart, you know, being a black father, being a black man, you know, my heart and soul is in making sure that we make sure we look good. Shout out to my man, Mark the Freelancer. Appreciate you. He says, my man Tex Patrol said, that was a very interesting learning about the Native people enslaving back. Yeah, that's the type of stuff I like to talk about. That's the type of stuff I like to talk about, man. I don't really want to talk about all these different things that aren't related to politics or sociology, but you know, here we are, you know, and I appreciate you all spending your time with me. I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't what I plan to do tonight. No, I had a completely different broadcast prepared. I was actually planning to talk about a broader cultural issue, specifically some of these these far rights complaining that they're losing their country, specifically saying things like, what are they saying? They're saying, you know, oh, they're being oppressed. So, you know, I was going to deal with that. And, you know, and how that narrative fits into the larger historical patterns. That was the direction I intended to go. But sometimes, you know, before we talk about what's happening out here, we have to deal with what's happening at home. And right now, what's happening in our space, particularly in black media, among black professionals, deserves some careful attention. And I think it's important that I clarify something from the beginning. I did not reach out to either of the gentlemen that I'm going to be discussing in this situation. They reached out to me, and because of that, I believe it's only fair and professionally responsible that I disclose my connections so that no one can accuse me of any hidden bias, okay? Now, I have met the lead attorney before. We were in New York during the Kevin Samuels era, and and myself, Kevin Samuels, and MTR, and him. You guys know mediocre tutorials and reviews. Who's also my fraternity brother. Actually, he's also a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. But so I've met these gentlemen before, and as I said, it was a business trip to New York, and you guys may recall this photograph. It's one of the last photographs that Kevin Samuels posted on his YouTube page, and I think I actually have this photograph here. This is the actual photograph. This was, I believe, the last photograph Kevin Samuels posted before he passed away there. And that's from the left to the right. You'll see Kevin Samuels, you see myself, and then you'll see the lead attorney, and then you'll also see MTR. And so I met him that one time. And, we after the meeting, this was actually at a production facility where they produce cologne and these sort of things. We were up there to kind of discuss and see how we can come together and try to revitalize some industry in the Black community. And I thought it was a cool idea. I don't really move too much for anybody, but, Kevin was making moves. And I said, well, I took the wife up there, and it was a great meeting these guys, very respectful, very kind, very businesslike. And surprisingly, we are all about the same height. Now, I know it all, just so you guys realize, I'm about 6'4", okay? And with shoes on, I'm about 6'5". So you can see Kevin and I about the same height. Lead attorney and MTR are all about the same height. So it was a real spectacle when we were walking down the streets, because we took an Uber from the facility back to Manhattan, and then we walked down, and we were just walking around Manhattan, and just meeting some different, going to some different facilities before we concluded our business meeting. And it was cool just walking with the brothers, well shaped, well dressed, in good shape. And it's crazy how many women stopped us. You understand? Even women that didn't know us. Of course, I'm with my wife, so I'm chilling, and she's my fiance at the time. But but the idea, the women were just like, oh my God, these well-dressed Black men just walking down the street. And we were a hit. You would have thought we were superstars or something like that. And the truth is, we are. Well, not me, not me. Okay, not me. Okay, but Kevin and MTR, lead attorney. Women they were just coming out of the woodwork. White women, old women, young women. And so, man, it was a real good, cool time, man. I think this is probably one of the first times I've ever put this photograph up. Yeah, very tall, very, very. Everybody in here is about 6'4", 6'5". So amazingly well-dressed, successful group of men. And it was cool, man. I really enjoyed that. And, again, it was a cool time. And and my wife enjoyed it too. We had a great time. But either way, so like I said, I know the brother. That's the lead attorney's head right there. You can't really see that's his head right there in the back, okay? But the bottom line is, I know the brother. He's a cool fella, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a cool cat. I only met him that one time. But like I said, in my personal experience, I found the lead attorney to be very respectful. Was very respectful, very courteous, very dignified, and very professional, okay? And on the other side, the other attorney, whose name I won't mention tonight, he represents Corey Holcomb. He has connections within my circle as well, okay? As you guys know, I've been practicing law for 26 years in October right here in Houston. A very prominent personal injury lawyer. And pretty much, everybody around here knows me because it's a small circle. especially black lawyers, especially black male lawyers. Plenty of black women practicing law out here, okay? But, this other brother, come to find out, he attended law school with an associate of mine. And when I say an associate, I mean a brother I've been working with for 15 years. I remember when he graduated from law school, he's a good friend of mine, and also a colleague. And he knows the gentleman that represents Corey Holcomb. Now, again, I've never actually met Corey Holcomb's lawyer, right? And but I come to find out he's my fraternity brother. Okay, when I say fraternity brother, I mean Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So more likely than not, I've at least been in the same room with the brother. You understand? And that being the case, there's probably 1 degree of separation. Not just through my associate, who I've been working with for about 15 years, but also through my fraternity. And, and he practices in the same city I do. And although to my knowledge, we've never met personally, but the thing you need to I understand clearly I have connections on both sides. And that's precisely why I feel compelled to speak, not to take sides and not to inflame anything further, but to hopefully prevent what could become a no-win situation for everyone involved, okay? And when I say everyone, I'm talking specifically about the lawyers, okay? That's who I'm talking about. These black lawyers, these brothers, these black men who worked extremely hard to get to where they are, that's who I'm talking about. Though this is where my concern lies, because if anything, I know how difficult it is for a black man to be successful in this country, especially in such a competitive field like the practice of law. Now, so that's kind of where I'm at, okay? And, you guys hit the number 1 button if you can hear me clearly. I want to make sure, because I'm going to get into this. And as you guys see, I have a special guest supposed to come in a little later on. I know he's busy, but if we can, we'll get him in a little later on. But I want to get this business out the way because I want to say, because I got drug in. Okay, I don't know how I got drug in. Okay, but I'm in it. I'm in it. I was minding my business. I was just minding my business, but here I am. So, either way, let me say a few things before we proceed. I hope after this conversation that, this matter will be resolved. I understand that there are, and I'm going to ask the gentleman to, heed my warning, if you will. But again, I feel compelled to speak, not to take sides, and definitely not to inflame anything further, but to hopefully prevent what could become a no-win situation for these black men, all right? Now, when disputes between entertainers like Corey Holcomb and attorneys like the lead attorney move from what may be a legal disagreement to a public spectacle, the dynamics change. Entertainers operate in the court of public opinion. Lawyers operate under bar rules, ethical obligations, and professional scrutiny. And those are 2 very, very different arenas. And when those worlds collide, escalation rarely produces a winner. And what I want to do tonight is walk through this calmly and strategically and explain why continuing down this path benefits no one, and how this can be resolved without further damage to reputations, relationships, or the profession itself. And I think we all will agree that lawyers have an obligation to the profession, okay? And this is where we're going, okay? So how do we get here, all right? Let's walk through this carefully, okay? Because if we're going to talk about resolution, we need to understand how we arrived at this point. this didn't start with lawyers. This started with content. It was an online dispute involving Corey Holcomb and commentary about Anton Daniels. Okay, it was a conversation they had, right? And I actually have the video here. You guys hit the number 1 button. Let me know you can hear the video clearly when it comes up. Y'all hit the number 1 button and let me know.
I'm not an ass kisser of nobody.
Yes, you are.
Fair use.
You suck the dick of black people right now.
Family friendly.
You
Family
doing
friendly.
the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah,
See, ain't
homie,
nobody
let me tell you something, homie.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
I don't
ain't nobody
suck
gonna
dick.
tell you to, yeah,
I don't
you do.
suck
Yeah,
dick,
you do.
So fix
you doing
that.
it right now.
I don't suck
you
dick,
doing,
homie.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you, I don't
Believe me
do
when I
that.
tell you.
So what happened before that, Corey Holcomb said, you kiss ass of white people. And then Anton said, you know, SD of black people, right? To ratchet it up. I mean, these are common, you know, these are guys, you know, talking about, you know, something they feel strongly about. And then, of course, this is the viewers eat it up, right? And so now it escalated, and here we go.
I don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna give you the same
Let's
energy
switch
you give me.
Let's switch seats.
Let's
Switch seats.
I'm with it.
Homie, I don't do no dick sucking shit. I'm a motherfucking man. I don't do no dick sucking shit.
So what I'm looking at is a dude from Chicago and a dude from Detroit. A dude from Chicago. I mean, this is an age-old battle right here, right? This has been going on since the country was founded, right? But bottom line is, this is where it started. Okay, this is how it started.
Don't give a fuck about nothing.
Well, I tell you what, watch that dick sucking shit, cause that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
I don't do no dick sucking,
You
homie.
say a lot of shit that I don't fuck with either. You
Okay, but that gay shit, oh, you
I don't give a fuck about what you talking
Hey,
about.
homie, I tell you what.
I'm right here.
Don't put no dick sucking shit. Don't put no.
Somebody please type family friendly in the chat room. We have a family friendly broadcast, and there's a lot of profanity going on right here, and I don't want YouTube to demonetize my channel. Okay, let's establish that off rip. Everybody, my normal people, and I know we don't talk about this, but it's a little messy. We don't talk about this around here. We talk about politics and history and whatnot. But because I've been, you know, people send me inboxes, right? Then here I am. Okay, but let's family friendly. Hashtag family friendly. Okay, let's finish this.
Dick sucking shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit.
Say
right
I
now.
suck a dick again.
I'm right here, right now.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna respect you.
Dance around it. Dance around it.
No.
Something like that. I mean, and then after that, Anton, which was the young man on the left, said, hey, let's take it outside, okay? He's gone outside and handle this like gentlemen, okay? We're gonna handle this, we're gonna box it out, so to speak, or whatever. I don't know, but that's how it started, okay? And then after that, O'Shea Duke Jackson got involved, and many other prominent YouTube folk, and as part of the exchange, certain statements were made that were critical, and you know, as you heard, in nature, okay, and not unusual in YouTube space. Disagreements happen. Somebody typed disagreements in the chat room. Disagreements do happen, okay, and it's clearly there was some disagreements going on. Right now, I would probably not have resorted to using that level of profanity, but nevertheless, I understand there was some cussing going on, tempers were flaring, people responded, and where things began to escalate was when allegations were made that someone lied. Okay, and so this is what happened. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and specifically the issue whether permission had been granted for an attorney to speak publicly regarding a matter involving Corey Holcomb, okay? And so the lead attorney stated that he had been cleared to speak by Corey's attorney, and he later showed written communications indicating that clearance had been given and that the interview had been coordinated before canceled, okay? And then Corey said it never happened. Corey publicly stated that no such permission had been given, and that is the moment things shifted, because once you move from we disagreed to you lied, you're no longer dealing with commentary, you're dealing with professional integrity. And when the accusation involves a licensed attorney, the stakes are different. Now, from there, the lead attorney responded publicly. And in responding, he not only defended himself, but he raised questions about how the situation had been handled by opposing counsel, okay? And that's where this became a lawyer versus lawyer dynamic, layered on top of an entertainer versus commenter dynamic. And at that point, you know, we had an entertainer making accusations, a lawyer defending his credibility, another lawyer whose professional name was being discussed, hundreds of thousands of viewers watching, and social media amplifying every word. Okay? And that's how we got here. Okay? That's how we got here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let the video play. Y'all hit the
Nobody permission to do nothing? Is that what you just said? Here, the attorney that you chose, the attorney that you brought on your show, the attorney that you were praising, the attorney that you were glazing is saying something completely different. Your attorney is saying that he checked with you, Corey, and that he's clear to speak with me. And let me tell you, Corey, it doesn't stop there. Once he said that you had given him permission to speak with me, then we started organizing a date and time. If we scroll down here, you can see that he says, your attorney, that the earliest time that we can record or prepare to record would be Friday. That Friday, anytime after 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
So you see the brother is laying out, you got the receipts, you know, it's a hard case to beat with the paperwork, right? But, and you know.
Corey, and you will see that the heading for the email in the subject line is interview. I say, Derek, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to follow up. Thank you for being willing to being interviewed. As mentioned in my Instagram message, let me know what time on Friday, either the evening or the night, whatever works best for you.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, the lead attorney is a brilliant, well-spoken brother. I've met him in person, very dignified brother. You understand? Like, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. And this is, you know, and it's just unfortunate for him, you see? But again, that's where we are, okay? And what I need you all, and of course, you know, you have people who chimed in, like Tasha K.
Hit in the face by Corey Holcomb. She is here.
This is Tasha K. And she bringing up some more stuff. I don't know anything about. I hadn't got into this part. This is not my area. I'm not even dealing with it. But Tasha K is talking about it. Okay, I'm gonna let this play a little bit more if I can get it to play. All right. Well, it is not playing. I guess the. Let me see here. I'll try to upload it and bring it back in, and let it play for you all. But you know, you all know Tasha K. Tasha K is always. Got the
In the paint is the young lady that got hit in the face by Corey Holcomb. She is here, especially after he was trending because he refused to fight a man, but he had smoked food.
Allegedly.
Women. Christina Payne, comedian Christina Payne, welcome back.
Hey, gorgeous, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, it's so good to see you. You look amazing.
Thank you, you as well. You had a young man that you were living with at the time that you were roommating and you were occasionally sleeping with. He defended you.
Yeah, I was living in the house with about like 5 other comedians, and he was one of them. I knew him from the East Coast. He would come to my open mics and was pretty much like my open mic baby in a sense.
So she's going through the story about a situation that involved Corey Holcomb and her. I don't want to get in that. That has nothing to do with me. But this is the issue that the lead attorney wanted to interview Corey Holcomb about. Had nothing to do with the Anton Daniels kerfuffle between Anton and Corey Holcomb. This is the issue she wanted.
So we're talking about Jamel, the one who we just featured in the clip.
Yes. After all of this transpired, he didn't like the way things were being portrayed. People started lying about me. As you can see, Corey had a bunch of his minions out here doing podcasts and interviews and whatnot, lying about me because my attorney and his attorney were in negotiations last year about money and whatnot. It's like I had to be quiet. I was silenced pretty much by his attorney. Corey Holcomb has been seen, as we say,
Did I say fair use? Taj K, don't give me a strike. I don't want no problems. Don't be around here trying to, I don't do that, okay? Speaking of which, you guys make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. I need like 50 subscribers and that'll get me to 93,000. So you could be You can get me there. All right. Yeah, I said fair use. All right.
Got caught red-handed lying about something you said you didn't do. Remember that. He said he did not touch me at all. And it wasn't until we got to court months later that he finally was like, he told the judge he poked me in the head with 2 fingers.
So that was Christina Payne. That was the woman that was alleging that Corey Holcomb knocked her tooth out.
I don't know who this content creator is, but basically it's just so everybody's talking about it. So lead attorney decided, hey, let me try to get the lawyer who represents Corey Holcomb on my broadcast. And so he wrote him a message, on Instagram. And that's how that is. And that's how this thing kind of started. But here's the thing, and I don't want to deal with that. What I want to do is let's pause here, because up until this point, no lawsuits have been filed, no bar complaints been filed, no court has been involved, and this is all taking place in the court of public opinion. And that matters because entertainers operate in that arena comfortably. Lawyers do not. Lawyers operate under ethical rules and bar oversight and character and fitness obligations and judicial scrutiny and reputational permanence. And when those two worlds collide publicly, escalation becomes very easy and resolution becomes more difficult. And so what began as a content disagreement between 2 content creators, it's progressed to something else. And here we are. Okay, now let me explain why I stepped in the first time and why I'm speaking again. When I did my initial broadcast, I wasn't trying to inflame anything. I wasn't trying to pick sides. I was looking at it strictly from a strategic and professional standpoint. And what I determined after stepping back and analyzing it is that this is shaping up to a no-win situation for the lawyers, okay? Let me explain why. First, when the disputes escalate publicly between entertainers and lawyers, the incentives are misaligned. Entertainers operate in visibility. Lawyers operate in credibility. Visibility rewards escalation. Credibility rewards restraint. Those 2 reward systems, they're not the same. So when accusations of lying begin to circulate publicly, especially when documentation is involved, both sides feel pressure to defend themselves. And once that defense begins in public, it becomes very difficult to scale back without someone appearing like they retreated. See? And now, here's what I analyzed in my previous broadcast. I said I looked at the jurisdictional issues. I talked about the defamation standards. I talked about the bar exposure. I looked at the practicalities of litigation versus public opinion. And what I concluded was this: there's no clear legal victory path that outweighs the reputational cost of a continued escalation. Okay, and I'll break this down for you all just so we can recap. If this continues in the court of public opinion, the audience becomes a jury, you all, right? The crowd. And the audience isn't bound by the rules of evidence. They're not bound by procedure. They're not bound by context. They react to tone. They react to who seems the most confident. They react to amplification. And amplification favors whoever has the larger platform, not necessarily whoever has the cleaner procedural position. Now, on the flip side, if this ever transitions into actual litigation, that's an entirely different arena. Litigation is expensive, it's slow, it's unpredictable, it's draining. And even when someone wins, they often lose time, money, and peace. And you mess up, it's just, you don't need that if it's unnecessary. And I said in my prior broadcast that even frivolous complaints can create unnecessary problems. Even allegations that go nowhere require a response. Even baseless allegations consume energy. And that's why I describe it as a no-win. Because if it stays public, reputations get dragged, okay? If it goes legal, resources get burned. If it continues, emotionally relationships fracture, and if it escalates further, the profession absorbs the damage. And when I say profession, I'm not talking about a bunch of white lawyers. Okay, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about a bunch of black lawyers, black men. We absorb that damage. They'll say, see, look at that, we told you. You can give them degrees, you can dress them up, you can educate them, you can make them rich. You see? You got two black male lawyers, both accomplished, highly accomplished, engaging in prolonged public conflict that does not elevate the profession. It doesn't help young lawyers watching. It doesn't help clients. It doesn't help our community. And when entertainers and attorneys collide publicly, the incentives diverge even further. Entertainers can survive on controversy. Sometimes they thrive on it. I'm absolutely sure that all these folk have made lots of money, you see, from the conflict. But see, lawyers can't afford prolonged public questions about integrity and documentation or ethical handling, even if those questions are ultimately resolved. That's what I saw. And that's why I spoke. Not to accuse, not to malign, not to escalate, but to say this road does not end well for you gentlemen. And the longer it continues, the narrower the exit becomes. Let me say that again. The longer it continues, the narrower the exit becomes. So when I call it a no-win situation, I'm not saying someone is right or wrong. I'm saying the structure of the conflict itself produces diminishing returns for everyone involved. And look, for you guys who don't know, this is my forte. I literally wrote the book on conflict. Okay, let me tell you, I literally have books written on conflict. You can literally go online. You can go check my books out on Amazon. And I literally have books called Rules to Live By, How to Maintain Peace of Mind in a Conflict-Filled World. Okay? It took me about 8 years to write them, so I know what I'm talking about. You know, whether we're talking about, you know, the geopolitical, whether we're talking about internal, I understand conflict. I understand the nature of conflict. And again, there's no narrow exit for this one, okay? And someone who's practiced law for over 2 decades, going on 30 years, I watched disputes spiral. I can tell you this, the strongest move in many conflicts is controlled de-escalation, not silence out of fear, not retreat out of weakness, but strategic restraint. And that's what I've determined. And that's why I'm speaking again. Now, a word to the counsel, all right? Because I want to speak directly and respectfully to the counsel, because both of these men reached out to me without me speaking to them. They both reached out to me. And without revealing the identity of the lawyer who represents Corey Holcomb, even though I'm sure there are many people who already know, these are screened. This is not the message. I'm not putting the actual messages up, but this is just, if you go on Instagram, this is what you'll see when someone sends you a message, okay? And you see, I got a message from the lead attorney, okay, after I did my broadcast, and not 7 hours later, okay, after I responded, I got a message from this gentleman, and I didn't respond to his. Well, actually, I got an automated response. So I didn't respond, okay? Because at this point, you know, I'm going to say whatever I have to say in public so that there's, you know, it doesn't appear as though I'm picking sides. As I've told you guys, I'm very familiar with these gentlemen. You know, I would not say, I don't know them personally, other than I've met the lead attorney personally in New York, and I showed you photographs of that. This other gentleman, I know him through friends, okay? But they reached out to me. I didn't reach out to them. This was not something that I planned to go past. But since they did, and since there is that connection, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to try to make peace. And I want to try to explain to these folk you know, what's going on. Okay. Now, let me say it like this. First, I want to talk to Corey Holcomb's lawyer. Okay. And in his message, he specifically told me that, you know, and I'm not going to forecast anything, but there's a reason why I am speaking now. And I want to speak directly to Corey Holcomb's attorney. Respectfully to counsel, you're in a unique position. Your client publicly made statements that called into question another lawyer's honesty. That's undeniable. And whether it was intentional or emotional isn't the point here. Once the word liar enters the public arena and it's directed at a licensed attorney, the stakes change. Now, the lead attorney responded, and in his response, he framed the situation as having two possibilities. Either your client was mistaken or there was a failure somewhere in communication. And he also used strong language in characterizing how he saw the situation. And from a strictly legal standpoint, his framing, there are two ways to look at it, is a structured argument. It's not a direct assertion of fact. And that makes any defamation theory complicated, to say the least. And you would know that. And you can evaluate that independently, but you know, it's your decision. Shout out to Hard Hat Tradesman 8761. Yeah, I hadn't asked for any super chats because, you know, I'm just trying to do this as a public service announcement. Tone it down a little bit. Somebody type public service announcement. Somebody type Uncle D the Peacemaker in the chat room. Uncle D the Peacemaker. But again, let me get back to it. So you know, if you respond publicly, understand that the terrain you're entering, and I'm talking to Corey Holcomb's lawyer. This isn't a courtroom. It's not a motion hearing. You're not downtown Houston at the federal courthouse or at the county court or the district court. You know, this is YouTube. Okay, this is social media. This platform is the battle. Okay, and platforms, unlike courtrooms, are unpredictable and asymmetric. One side has 500,000 subscribers. Okay. One side has had a media presence for years. And the audience is loyal to that person. And that audience is conditioned. That audience has already formed impressions of that person. And I'm talking about the lead attorney. They like him. Don't you like the lead attorney? Don't you all like the lead? You like the lead attorney. And see, and public disputes in that arena are rarely about who's technically correct. They're about perception, amplification, and narrative control. And lawyers are not trained to compete in narrative amplification. Entertainers are. Now, I'm not saying you can't respond, brother. I'm not saying you should defend yourself. I'm saying this. Once you step into that arena, you must be prepared for continued exchange. And continued exchange means more clips, more commentary, more interpretation, more audience reaction, more permanence. You know, you look, because the internet doesn't forget. And you need to understand, your mama's going to be calling you, friends that went to high school going to be calling you, classmates, lawyers, everybody going to know. Everybody. The brother has 500,000 subscribers. I'm talking about TLA, got 500,000. You can't, 500,000, and the ladies look at him. The ladies want to rub his bald head, put some baby oil on. I know what you ladies, that's why y'all like it. Y'all want to touch on him. That's why you watch him. See, I don't have that problem. See, I got spots on my face and glasses and a big round pie face. Anybody over here like to hear what I got to say? Y'all don't necessarily want to listen to me. But, you know, what I'm saying is that's something you need to consider, man. I mean, you know, you see, you got these high profile clients living, they live in the court of public opinion. Their brand is public. Their survival mechanism is public response. Lawyers survive differently. You a working lawyer. You practice personal injury law, man. The jury is gonna know that's that dude that the lead attorney was talking about. You see what I'm saying? We survive on long-term credibility and judicial relationships and bar standing and reputation inside the profession. And those ecosystems operate on different incentives. I like quiet money. Somebody type quiet money in the chat room. Uncle D like to get my cases and settle my cases. And, you know, I've been making good money for about the past, what year is this? For the past 12 years, I've done very well for myself. Okay? But again, when those ecosystems overlap publicly, the risk multiplier increases. Now, let me be very clear. I've heard nothing negative about you professionally. And I'm talking to Corey Holcomb's lawyer. I've spoke to different people. I've looked at all the people who have wonderful things to say about you. And from what I understand, you're doing well, practicing. You know, you're building a career that matters. Okay, and the question isn't who's right. The question is going to be who's left. Now ask yourself, does prolonged public engagement advance your long-term professional objectives? Because sometimes the strongest move isn't escalation, it's containment. Sometimes the strongest move is allowing a cycle to burn out rather than feeding it oxygen. Public disputes are like fire. They require fuel, and without fuel, they extinguish. So I say this respectfully, frat. My ice cold frat brother, think strategically, think long term. Think about where you want your name positioned in 5 years when you're trying to get on a class action steering board and the judge's clerk Googles your name. And this pops up. Because see, I was just on an interim committee for the CPAP cases, and they paid me very well to the tune of $1,000 an hour. I was like just hanging out at the meetings. Now, I applied to get on the steering committee. And if that case settled for, what the CPAP case settled for? How much was it? $1.2 billion? And there's only about 8 or 9 seats available. This is the litigation out of Pittsburgh. We had to fly up to Pittsburgh. And I was loud up there, and I got put on the steering committee, the interim committee. Did good, still getting paid from that. Okay? So you talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that you might throw away because you get involved in a brawl in public and now anybody can Google it. I just want you to think about that. See, there's power in visibility, but there's also power in restraint. And this particular structure escalation benefits the entertainer ecosystem more than it benefits the bar ecosystem. And that's not judgment, that's structural reality. And there's one more strategic consideration. I want you to think about this, brother. Okay, and again, I'm talking to Corey Holcomb's lawyer. If part of your motivation is to respond, is to desire, is to clear your name or correct the record, I understand that instinct. Trust me, I do. Uncle D claps back all the time. Uncle D will get you. Everybody who follows me know I get you, but I do it quietly. Most of these people on this page don't know who I've sued. They don't know who I've had channels removed. I do it quietly because I don't want to get in a kerfuffle with some person and make a spectacle out of it. Quiet wars. Somebody type quiet wars in the chat room. I always tell my people that I'm the type I'm gonna choke them quietly in the woods where nobody can see. Okay? That's me because I understand that. Okay? But I want you to understand something too. I get your instinct. Your instinct is to protect your name. Every professional wants accuracy, but it's also important to remember how the sequence unfolded. See, the initial public statement came from your client. The lead attorney responded to defend himself. And from the outside looking in, that appears to be a defensive response rather than an unprovoked attack. So if a second round of public engagement begins, Many people won't view it as correction. They may view it as escalation. And the perception, especially in public forums, outweighs procedural nuance. In other words, sometimes justice isn't achieved by matching force with force. Sometimes it's achieved by allowing the original exchange to stand, choosing not to extend further. In other words, what I'm saying is Corey hit him first and he hit back. Y'all passed licks. You might not have had an opportunity to pass a lick to him, but your client passed a lick for y'all team. Okay? So everybody got their licks passed. I mean, I'm absolutely sure lead attorney didn't like the idea of being, called out of his name and his credibility question, right? He had to suffer that, even if it was just for a day or two. Some people might not have saw his response. I think everybody saw the lead attorney's response, but nevertheless, and I think he did a good job clarifying his name, but you guys hit him first, he hit back. If we want to break it down like we talking to, somebody would put it down with a cows can eat. But here's the thing. You're not conceding anything. It's about controlling the temperature of the situation rather than adding heat. Now, I would suggest you think about what I just said for your own future career. Now, word to lead attorney, okay? And I want to speak directly to the brother, and I want all you fans of the lead attorney to understand this. In the response to your message, I told you that your response was effective. And from a public standpoint, you defended your name, you did it well, you presented documentation, you articulated your position clearly in the court of public opinion. You did not break any bar rules or anything like that, okay? And you accomplished what most professionals would hope to accomplish when their credibility is questioned. But as you noted in my broadcast, I was hesitant to mention Mr. Holcomb's lawyer's name from the beginning, okay? Because see, the moment another lawyer's name becomes public, that lawyer feels compelled to defend himself, right? We all do. And once that defense begins, the circle widens. And now we're no longer dealing with a single exchange. We're dealing with multiple participants, multiple platforms, and potentially multiple rounds. And here's a structural concern. You have built a very large platform, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, your years of content, you got a loyal audience, you understand social media dynamics. This is your arena, brother, okay? All right, if further responses come, let me tell you, you're well equipped, you're articulate, you're brilliant, you understand how this works, okay? You're gonna deliver your response clearly and forcefully. But here's the unintended consequence. And I want you to listen to me, all right? If this continues, you win the argument in the public sphere. That does not necessarily end this matter. Because at this point, the focus is gonna shift away from counsel and back toward the original source of the dispute. And entertainers, i.e. comedians, operate under very different incentive structures than lawyers. Entertainers don't operate under bar rules. They don't answer to judicial scrutiny. They don't operate under professional conduct standards. Their ecosystem rewards escalation, reaction, and amplification by any means necessary. This isn't a moral judgment. It's a structural reality. If the exchange shifts from lawyer versus lawyer to commentary from comedian to lawyer, right, in a public conflict, the terrain changes entirely. When I say things change, I mean this. You're dealing with someone who doesn't fight the way lawyers fight. Mr. Holcomb does not follow any professional limits. I don't think he has any limits. We've seen some of his past disputes. He gets personal. He brings up family members. The man makes T-shirts, with just no limits. You shock value to get attention, and Mr. Holcomb will go beyond the original issue if he thinks it helps his audience. You understand me? This man has said some harsh things about his own child. You understand? And that kind of approach might get views, but it does not follow bar rules, and it's more like a barroom fight. And once the disagreement moves into that space, it's no longer about who's legally right. It becomes who can be the loudest and keep the drama going the longest, and that's a completely different fight. There's no referee, there's no judge, there's no evidentiary rules. The audience becomes the jury, and the audience are drawn to the intensity. You understand? Now, see, I've been taught you can't, ain't no need to wrestle with somebody that just, that's in the gutter. Like the man's from Chicago. The man is gonna fight dirty, man. You're a clean, upright, hardworking, dignified man. You don't want to jump in that cesspool with that man. Nobody's coming out clean. You see? I'm just saying, some people, that's like you don't fight with people like that. You walk around people like that. And you definitely don't fight him in his arena. See, the risk is whether prolonged engagement drags your professional brand into a space that doesn't operate under the same standards you're accustomed to, okay? As I said, you're upstanding, educated, disciplined professional. You built your brand around analysis, documentation, and measured breakdowns. The concern isn't that you can't respond, good brother. The concern is that continued rounds of response with this type of adversary benefits the comedian in his ecosystem. Raunchy, too. Raunchy. Somebody type raunchy in the chat. Raunchy. He's already said some raunchy things. All right? It benefits him in his ecosystem more than you and your professional ecosystem. Sometimes the most powerful position isn't proving you can win again. It's choosing not to continue, because when escalation moves outside the bar ecosystem into personality-driven content, right, the rules change. And once you're in that cycle, exiting that, it becomes harder because he's gonna dirty you up. He's gonna dirty you up. You understand what I'm saying? There's a no-win structure. I'm looking at this. And it's not because you're wrong, brother. It's not because you can't defend yourself. You got 500,000 subscribers. You got more subscribers than him. But the man is raunchy. Okay, he says raunchy things. He make you want to fight. He make you have Anton Daniels out there ready to fight. And you're a professional. You're a lawyer. And again, sometimes restraint protects more than rebuttal. You see? Sometimes your restraint protects more than your rebuttal. And that's all I'm saying. Now, for all you people watching right now, messy, I want to talk to the audience right now. Everybody. This is Uncle D talking to you now. Y'all see, I'm talking to all y'all like your children today. I'm talking to everybody like a niece and a nephew. Okay, I understand how this works. I know what some of you are here for. You want to see the blood spill. And when I say blood, I'm not talking about anything physical. I'm talking about reputational blood. You want to see two lawyers tear each other up. You want to see names dragged. You want to see screenshots and responses and counter responses. You want to see a spectacle. It's entertainment. You out here death scrolling on a Saturday night. You don't have anything to do. It's Valentine's Day. You ain't got nobody likes you. So you up here listening to folk. You understand? You getting a laugh out of it. You doing a share. But what you may not fully consider is what the spectacle costs. And when reputations are publicly smeared, the damage doesn't disappear when the live stream ends. The clips stay up. The search results remain, the commentary lives on, and while the crowd moves on to the next controversy in a couple of weeks, these professionals, these black men, these lawyers involved are left with the residue. And what feels like entertainment to spectators, it just becomes long-term stain on people inside my arena. And that's the part of the Coliseum doesn't think about, okay? The crowd wants the mess. And after I look, let me tell you something. After I received the initial inbox from the lead attorney, I was done. And I hadn't planned on saying anything else, but then 7 hours later, I saw another message. My inbox had Corey Holcomb's attorney in it. And when I saw both names back to, they are stacked right on top of each other. I said, oh man. And I didn't respond all the way. I could have jumped on the internet yesterday, but I sat with it for a minute. I talked to my wife, I talked to my son, I prayed on it a little bit because, see, here's the reality. We're not just lawyers. We're black men. In fact, we're black male lawyers. And there aren't many of us. We are a small percentage. I want both of you brothers to listen to me. This is not why you were sent to law school. This is not why the people in your life sacrificed for you. To be fighting it out on the internet behind some raunchy comedian and what he said. This is not why our ancestors fought so hard for us to be educated, to read, to practice law, to stand in courtrooms as officers of the court. I want you to remember your oath. When two trained black lawyers begin publicly tearing each other down, I have to say it plainly, this is beneath us. That's not Thurgood Marshall. That's not Johnny Cochran. That's not the legacy of all the civil rights attorneys that came before us so that we could even sit in these white folk courthouses and law schools. We are supposed to be the problem solvers of our community. We are supposed to be the peacemakers, and instead we risk becoming participants in something that looks like a spectacle. And let's be honest about something that's really, really uncomfortable. Them people are watching. They are already inclined to believe the worst about us. You know how hard it is to convince your jury that your black client is innocent before they find him guilty? And you know what those people will say? They will say, see, you can give them degrees, you can dress them in suits, you can put them in courtrooms, and they still behave like animals. And we know that narrative is false, but public conflict can be twisted to confirm the worst stereotypes. And social media is the Coliseum. These people watching you they don't care about the bar rules. They don't care about documentation. They don't care about professional standards. They just want to see blood. They're living their boring lives, and this is entertainment to them. They want it to escalate. They want to see the next round. But see, we're not gladiators. We are licensed professionals, and I come from a long line of black attorneys. My father, who sits over my left shoulder, was an attorney. My great-great-great-grandfather practiced law. He was born a slave, and he practiced law in Mississippi and federal court in Kansas. My oldest son, is on his way to law school. And see, so this isn't just commentary for me. This is legacy. And because I know one of these men personally and the other is my fraternity brother, I feel compelled to say this publicly. This exchange does not elevate us. It diminishes us, and it diminishes all of us. And sometimes the strongest move isn't winning another round. It's refusing to enter the arena. Okay? Now, I want to thank you all. I almost forgot. You guys hit the #1 button and let me know that you can hear me clearly. Hit the #1 button. I want to kind of change the tone a little bit. So what I'm going to do is take a quick break. All right. You guys make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back and we're going to finish this thing up. If you appreciate what I'm doing, if you appreciate the work, type the peacemaker in the chat room. Type the peacemaker in the chat room. If you appreciate what I'm doing in here, type the peacemaker in the chat room, and I'll be right back. You guys hit the #1 button. Make sure you subscribe. I We're not finished now. We are not finished, okay? But I want y'all to hang in there, and I will be right back. But you got to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't do me dirty. What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome to the broadcast. This is Uncle D. People wash their ass in the tub, Kamala Harris.
You would tune in to Uncle D. D's black man talk. Pull up, homie, take a seat. Don't be a shadow watcher every day. You learn something and you earn something. And let them know and drop some money in the plate. It's getting cold, ladies, talking ratchet. There's a king here, grab your coat, zip your jacket. Keep quiet for a second, close your jaw. Turn it spurling, this ain't Furley, know the law. Talking Constitution, pushing pins when he shooting, give him that. Masculinity, just for the record, sprinkle that. You can keep your cat, gotta cut it. Only cat he rubbing, gotta love it. I call it Molly Buddy. Gotta vote your interest, voting earns. Presidential, this is for the money that I earn. When you gon' learn, my people, that evil mixed with evil. No matter what you're doing, baby, this ain't equal. Sometimes when you're special, you get hated. The test is for the best, you're damn right, my people made it. Uncle D, Blizzard King, you've been served, gotta notice. Now black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now. Uncle D, you've been served, get your notice now. Black men out here know we winning, gotta hold it now.
Hey man, I do what I do.
Somebody need to whip your ass. Get up and whip him, sweets.
Hey, don't be putting the money in my hand all rough.
Take your ass out here. You buy you a Floby and cut your own damn hair from now on.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody who is in here. Y'all hit the number 1 button if you can hear me clearly. Hit the number 1 button if you can hear me clearly. I want you guys to, I hope I got my point across, and I want to thank, I think we got somebody who contributed, Hard Hat Tradesman. Again, I didn't ask for any super chats on this one. I just kind of wanted to get this out. But if you want to, you always will. If you learn something, fine. I'm sure you guys enjoy what I'm trying to do here. But here's the thing, now, this is going to be a different turn, okay? You see I've turned the light up, and I have a special guest. Special guest, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here in a real way.
Get my special guest in here, hopefully. Is my special guest here? Oh,
yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you in a real way.
Oh, yeah, what's up, man? Let's get the hand clap. Man, you guys, if you don't know who this is Aaron the plumber. Shout out to Aaron the plumber. Let me go ahead and see if I can, get this. I got a special, everybody knows who you are, man. How you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm blessed, black and highly favored. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So, the thing is, man, this whole situation started between a dude from Detroit and a dude from Chicago, okay? They got in a fight out there in L.A., and I'm talking specifically about Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb. And they end up arguing about who knows what. I don't even know why at this point. But, these 40-year-old, 50-year-old men, and then next thing you know, it just gets drugged down into the ground. And what I'm thinking here, to me, this is what I'm thinking. You let me know if I'm wrong, okay? I'm thinking, because I practice jujitsu. You actually hung out with me here, me and my sons. We do jujitsu and all sorts of martial arts. I'm thinking we need to organize the fade. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree, man. If you can't be diplomatic about a situation and we can't make amends, the next best step is the fade.
Yeah, boy. Hey, man. Hey, look, let me tell you something, man. I've been sizing them up. I've been looking at the odds, man. Here's what I'm thinking. We need to start with the fact that, this all started with Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb, so I'm thinking we need to go back to the beginning and they need to go and jump in here. You see, we can get the Barrister Brawl going later, okay? But Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels, I want all you people in here to tag these two cats. And they need to go ahead and get the fade going on. Okay, they need to go ahead. They were supposed to take it outside, right? They didn't take it outside, so we can organize the fade. And I'm thinking, man, you could be the ref, you could be the host, You see what I'm saying? I got some people out here, man. I'm cool with the promoters of dirty boxing here in Houston. They can run the fade, man. We can, and then we can, and then what do you think? What's the odds? Who do you think? What's your odds? Who you betting on?
The better attorney is gonna win the bout. Because you fight in the courtroom every day. So you got to be prepared in that courtroom. Mm-hmm. So this is a different type of battle. So I think the better attorney, the more disciplined attorney is going to win the battle. He's going to show up early to the gym, put that work in, same way he fights in the courtroom, and come out victorious each day. So that's who's going to be the winner of this match, the better attorney.
Now, here's the thing, man. So, like, people think the lead attorney is short. He about 6'4". He got a nice reach on him. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I can see him working that jab. Now, the other lawyer, I've sized him up. He's sturdy. He got a, he big. He like Foreman style. You see what I'm saying? So you might have a rematch of Ali and Foreman up in here between these lawyers, man. I just like to see that. Now, what are you? So you gonna go? So it's up in there. You don't know who the better attorney is. But what about Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb? Who you got on that?
I never underestimate no man. So whoever puts the work in, man, that's who's going to win. That's who I'm advocating for. Whoever's the hardest working individual in the gym, that's who's going to take it home.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put my money. See, look, I've checked out. See, Anton now, you got this little light voice. He kind of puts you in the mind of Mike Tyson. And he was ready. He was like, look, let's go outside, man. Let's make this happen. And, that's a mutual combat situation, so nobody's going to jail. But, he's short. He built low to the ground, man. I'm thinking a rib shot, that floating rib, boom, right there in the liver. I think they're going down. I'm going to put my money on Anton, man. He's short, but he's sturdy. You see what I'm saying? He's younger, too. See, Corey Holcomb is like almost, I think he's like 55, 56, you know what I'm saying? He about that AARP age, but but Anton, right? he need to go get his rheumatoid arthritis checked out. He out here fighting with these youngsters. Don't do that. But Anton's like I think he's in his late 30s or early 40s. So I think he got the age advantage. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, age will play a part in this bout. But, it's just like if your son try to test you today, you'll be able to whoop him with ease because you got more life experience. So is that the case here? We don't know. So mutual combat, man. Let's get to dirty boxing and let's put this thing together. Let's make this kind of fruition.
Hey, man, I'm 100% with it. I would love to be able to help resolve this, and I think because here's the thing, man. I'm always for trying to find resolution. I'm always for trying to bring things to an end. I don't like to see black men out there fighting each other. Especially if you're doing it for free. You ain't making no money. You just out there boxing each other in the street. You can get paid for that, man. And, my thing is I don't like the fact that these are lawyers. These are lawyers. These are professionals. All these men are millionaires, and it's not setting a good example. You understand what I'm saying, brother?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. But anyway, what's been going on with you, brother?
Oh, man, I just been training myself. I had my debut, was supposed to come up in January, but I ended up fracturing my hand. Mm-hmm. So I'm just, focused on maintaining this cardio and trying to actively getting back into the trades, trying to get into the union and prioritize employment first.
There you go.
But expected to be fighting sometime. I might fight next month or March if the doctors clear me. If not, probably April or May. But just trying to keep my spirituality intact and trying to stay in shape and be a positive influence on the younger generation is the most important things to me right now.
Well, that's a true blessing, brother. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the example you set. And you and I, we kind of went through this together too. When they were coming after you, and I tried to explain to people that this ain't what you want. You know, I went through the same thing with Kevin Samuels, and then when folk were jumping off saying these things about you, you know, I stood in the cut for you. I didn't even know you at the time. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. And most people don't know that story because I was operating behind closed. I didn't even know Aaron, and you had a lot of huge YouTubers that were saying things about the brother. And I'm like, you don't know what you do to people behind closed doors. You don't know how this affects people. Some people are not, they're private people. They want to stay private, you know? And then when you start saying these things and they don't have an outlet to say anything back, it makes them upset. And so I was trying to explain to the audience here that Corey Holcomb's lawyer feels compelled to say something, but when you're dealing with somebody like the lead attorney who has 500,000 subscribers on YouTube and maybe 100 million views, how do you fight something like that?
Yeah, you can't. You need Dennis Sperling on your team. That's the only way.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, brother, I'm glad I could help you out over the years, and I'm very proud of you. Keep up the good work. And, you know, anytime you come to use, bro, let me know. We need to organize this fade, all right? We need to get them to run the fade. Why don't you I want you to talk directly to Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels and also the lead attorney and his lawyer. If they can't resolve this peacefully, what do they need to do?
Hey, man, y'all need to line up the fade on Dirty Boxing. Dennis Sperling to put it together. I'm talking to Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels. Man, y'all are very intelligent individuals. And if you can't be diplomatic, you know, you guys already made a public scene about this, you know, so let's just be men about the situation and handle it, you know, and we can teach the younger generation that it's okay to have a discrepancy with another brother, and we can engage in a good old fisticuff like they used to back in the day, and we can shake hands and be brothers again. You know, we don't have to unalive each other how a lot of these younger generation are doing now. We don't have to do any of that. We can be men and solve this situation in the ring and shake hands after.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. Thank you so much, brother. It's always great having you here. You keep your head up, keep pushing. Very proud of you. You know, you got fans all across the world, man, that just love and appreciate you, man. We just, you know, I talk to you and I tell you all the time, you've been chosen. You know, the people have chose you. So word to the wise to be sufficient. Yeah, y'all heard it from Mr. Line Up the Fade himself, man. Y'all need to run the fade. Let's end this conflict. But God bless you, brother. You be blessed. Thank you so much.
God bless you as well. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. So you guys heard Aaron the plumber. You heard him what he said, man. They need to run it. Somebody type Line Up the Fade in the chat room. I want y'all to go on over there to all these different broadcasters and you tell them that we ready to help them line up the fade. Okay, Uncle D, I'm here, baby. I've actually took a photograph. I got the promos ready. Okay, Uncle D has the promos ready for you guys. Look, that's me in my referee uniform right here. I'm ready to help out. See, look at me. Look, I'm ready, baby. I'm ready to bring peace. Somebody type peacemaker in the chat room. Somebody type peacemaker in the chat room. But anyway, man, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to keep it. It's Valentine's Day. Y'all should go out and say something nice to somebody. Okay, go out there and hang out and enjoy yourself. But other than that, God bless you all. Big shout out to Aaron the plumber. I appreciate you for coming through, brother. And, you know, real talk, man. You know, let's try to, this doesn't help anybody, okay? And I think as men, we need to set an example for the young people and do a better job of showing them how to resolve conflict and blasting each other on the internet with insults and insulting each other's manhood is not a positive direction to take this, especially in such a tumultuous time period as we are in right now. So God bless you all. I love you all. I appreciate you all. And as I always say at this time, this is Uncle D, and I'm out.
Dennis Sperling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.